Welcome back to Key Conversations, the podcast where we talk about all the things to inspire you to have a creative and fulfilled music career. Today, we are the luckiest of ducks to have Kevin Breuner, the VP of Marketing of CD Baby, on with us. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You all know that I'm a big CD Baby fan. I've released all my records through them. They are a distribution company. They're the people you upload your CD to and the masters and the artwork, and then they send it to all the places. That's the gist. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you know. And there are some cool options and partnerships and things that are happening right now with CD Baby that are really important in this new, it's always new, whatever day it is, but the new music model and climate right now. So I wanted to talk to Kevin directly about all the tools, specifically the publishing. What does that mean? Because I get this question a lot. Like, what does that mean to publish? Are you giving up your rights? So Kevin, first of all, thanks for being here. So psyched that we can have this conversation. But let's dig into the publishing first. Because when someone's uploading their CD, it comes to this question of, do you want CD Baby to what's the wording of it? Represent you?
Usually it's presented as a publishing administration deal.
What does that mean? Tell us.
Well, first you got to understand what publishing is in the first place, which is helpful. Publishing is the representing the rights, the songwriter rights. And this is one of the things that a lot of independent artists haven't encountered before this point, because if you're writing and recording your original music, you just, you own everything and you don't really think about all the individual rights that could have been owned by somebody else, or different parts of the work that could have been contributed by someone else. So it's usually not pointed out that, hey, you as a songwriter is different than you as the artist. It's different than the master recording owner. And all those different roles have different rights. So publishing deals with the songwriter rights and the ownership of the actual song you're recording, because, ideally your music's going to do so well that someone else is going to want to record that song. Obviously. And that's where the songwrite would come into play, as opposed to your sound recording or what you're doing as an artist. So it's very important for artists to understand that that's what publishing handles. And most people, even just music fans, really have just seen the recording side of the industry and the recorded piece of music, and they're familiar with that concept. But the publishing is this behind the scenes thing that's actually where a lot of the money's made too.
That's right. We're going to talk about that. First, difference between a copyright and the songwriter rights that you're talking about, or are they the same?
Well, the copyright is the actual song. And the songwriter right is basically you, the songwriter, contributed this song, so you're owed a piece of the pie. Typically, when you're thinking about the money generated from the song, meaning the song copyright, typically that money is split 50% going to the publishing entity and 50% going to the songwriter. So if you went to Nashville and got a publishing deal where you had a deal with a publisher and your job was to write songs all day, they would keep the publisher portion and you would make the songwriter portion.
Yes, totally. And when you sign up for your PRO, your performing rights organization, I am a member of ASCAP in the United States. There's also CSAC and BMI. And I think there's a fourth one now. I don't know. I don't keep up with these things. What's it called? I don't know.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, who knows? There's another one, but whatever. I'm with ASCAP. I love them. People love BMI and CSAC. You look into them. But what you're doing is you're signing up as a writer. And then if you're an independent artist, you're also signing up as a publisher. Most record labels usually take the publishers, as far as I know, or at least you're signing up in the publisher. But when you're independent, you're signing up as both.
Correct. In most cases, they all have their different ways of how they work and how they account for it. But yeah.
So someone who does admin, administers the publishing is not someone who's taking any rights, but someone who gets paid a percentage of what the publisher share is in order to just collect it and manage that catalog of music, correct?
Correct. So the way to think about it is, as an artist, when you go get a record deal, the record company is going to own that recorded product, If, as a writer, when you go get a publishing deal, not an admin deal, but a publishing deal, you are basically doing the same thing on the song side where they're going to keep your rights for publishing. But a publishing admin deal just means we are going to administer those rights for you, but you're going to keep all your rights, and the song is still 100% yours. We are going to take a cut in order to do the work, in order to collect the money. Because one of the two common misconceptions artists have is one, that ASCAP, CSAC, BMI is their publisher. They are absolutely not publishers.
They collect money. They collect money. That's all they do.
They collect performance royalties. That's all they do. They're not a publisher, but they do that on behalf of writers and publishers, but they are not a publisher. The other common misconception is that if you have what is called a vanity publishing company, that's all you need. You're making your money. But that's not true. What a publishing company does is they actually go out and find publishing money that's being generated by your music and collect that money. So for us, where that plays in for the average independent artist, for right now on Spotify, for every $5 you make from streaming, there's an additional $1 in publishing money that is available to you if you write and record songs that are your own. There's that extra money that's available to you, but you can't collect that without a publishing administrator. You could have your vanity publishing company, but you don't have staff. You don't have the connections at these places. You don't have deals with the collection societies in order to flow the money to you. So that doesn't really do anything for you. So as a publishing admin, we're doing that work for you around the world. And it's becoming more important than ever because there's so much more types of usage of music that generates a publishing royalty these days. For independent artists, it's different than how we thought about it just 10 years ago. Everything was very much, the industry was basically set up around the idea of the CD or, the record or the tape, or where you have this one thing, there's the recording right, there's the songs that are in it, and that's basically the industry. Throw in radio airplay and you're covered. It's so much more things happening with apps using music, TikTok throwing stuff in there, Instagram stories, sync placements all over the place, YouTube, that's generating tons of publishing money in different ways that wasn't, the pipes weren't set up to collect it in the old industry.
They're getting clogged up. And just to clarify, when you say the vanity publishing company, that's like when I signed up for ASCAP, I signed up as a writer under my name, and then I created a name. I said CBE Music, that's my publishing company, but it's not technically a company. I didn't need to go make an LLC or anything, but I am able to collect my publishing rights. But now, the way you're saying, it's like I actually need an admin to collect those publishing, the money from, for example, like you said, Spotify, that $1. I would like that $1, please. And since I can't collect that on my own, I'm going to go through CD Baby.
Yeah, because what you did when you set up that vanity publishing company, I have one as well. When I signed up with ASCAP, I think it's called Echo Park.
Oh, God, so emo.
It's because I'm a guitar player and I like delay. And so I thought, oh, that's a cool name.
It is. I like it.
But that publishing company doesn't exist. There's no staff. Nobody's doing anything to collect my money. Sure, ASCAP will flow through some of the money that they collect, but that's just performance for things that they collect. There are so many more royalties that are generated that don't go through ASCAP. Mechanical royalties do not go through ASCAP. And things like the other thing it does that we do for artists is that we actually have direct deals with the societies around the world. So you get your money faster. And even though we take a cut, it probably comes out to you making the same or more, because when it bounces from society to society around the world till they find out who it belongs to, like if it's collected in Germany, but they got to send it to ASCAP, and then ASCAP has to figure it out. They're all taking a cut along the way. So when we have these direct deals, it comes right to you, and less people taking a little cut. Is it
less pipes to get clogged up?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And
I like it.
And it's for us. We want to make sure that those pipes are flowing where some of these organizations have very long histories, and some of them look at the independent market that's growing and become a force to be reckoned with. They look at it as a nuisance because they're like, it was easier when we had far less people to pay, and we knew to pay the top famous people, and then we went on with our day. Where now there's so much usage, it's more important than ever to have somebody that's really combing through everything to find every cent you're owed, because it all adds up. I've noticed a considerable uptick in the publishing money that's through CD Baby Pro that's been paid in my own account for my band Small Town Poets over the last year and a half, where I'm like, whoa, this is really starting to add up. It's, it's not paying my mortgage yet, but at the same time, I don't want to give $500 away if it's mine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was getting psyched about that $1 from Spotify. So yeah, if we're talking $500, sign me up. I love that. And I also love that this has turned into a plumbing analogy. So that's fun.
And I know nothing about plumbing, just so you know.
I have taken apart a couple toilets in my day. I'll say that, but that's beside the point. So tell us now, when an artist is uploading their CD and they say, okay, yes, I want this admin deal, so to speak. Does that mean anything around licensing or opportunities that normally wouldn't be there? I know that you're now partnering with Songtradr, and they're a company that can get your music out there. What's the role that CD Baby plays in terms of actually getting the music out there, or are you just collecting on behalf of the artist?
Well, the publishing admin deal just collects those royalties. It does not inhibit you from doing sync deals on your own at all. There's some people that give out some very wrong information saying that CD Baby's service will keep you from being able to do a sync deal. That is not true. And if it does, chances are the sync company that you're engaged with might be doing some funny business with the publishing, because that's a little secret trick that a lot of bad publishing or bad sync companies do to mess with your to get a little extra cash for themselves. But it does not inhibit you from doing anything else. We do have a sync licensing department that's actually pitching for placements. We've been getting a lot of great placements. That is separate from the publishing deal. You can do both, or you can just do the sync deal or just the publishing one. It's best if you do both, then we can make sure that you are getting paid and know that placement happened, and it can be on our radar, so we know that there might be publishing money generated from the performance or reproduction in some way of that commercial or show or whatever it is.
Awesome. So if we get a if we get a placement, even if it's something like in an in-store or somewhere where we know that it's getting collected from our PRO, CD Baby still would make sure that we're getting that publisher share.
Yep. Anything publishing related, we're out there collecting it for you. And that's why it's so important to understand that publishing is not just performance or what ASCAP collects, because there's so many types of usages where the way the money flows is different.
Totally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what are some of the other partnerships that CD Baby has? I know we had mentioned Songtradr. I had mentioned it. You
Songtrust.
Songtrust. Sorry, not Songtradr. Yeah. Songtrust. And then also for licensing cover songs, you've got some cool partnerships there. There's a bunch of tools that I saw pop up at, that my new record I haven't had one in 4 years. I'm like, oh, look at all these fun tools. I don't have to go outside of the website. I can just get my license here. I can do this. And I keep misspeaking. Songtradr is a different site for licensing. Songtrust. The T is messing me up, I guess.
Yeah.
Tell us about a couple of these little other partnerships that are beneficial for an artist about to release a record.
Well, Songtrust is who powers our CD Baby Pro publishing program. So if you sign up with us for CD Baby Pro, your Songtrust powers all that collection. So the important thing is, we're sister companies now, and they're out there marketing for direct signups for songwriters. But if you've signed up through us with CD Baby Pro, you're covered. Just want to make sure that there's not confusion around there. We recommend a company called Easy Song Licensing for licensing your songs for your album or single release. Especially if you're going to have CDs or be selling downloads, you still need to get that license.
For a cover song.
For a cover song, yes.
For a cover
correct.
song.
For cover
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah. And I experienced that firsthand, and I thought it was so easy. You click on it through CD Baby and it takes you right to the page that you need. You don't need to search, which is really cool. So that's pretty neat. And then and they're not expensive.
No, licensing and doing it right is not expensive. It used to be. If you have been releasing music, at least I know 10 years ago, it was really expensive. They'd make you, it was when you had to go through Harry Fox. And the way it was set up back then, they really didn't want to deal with independent artists, but it was you had to buy a minimum number of license, and it was renewed every year, and the minimum was 100 downloads, and it just made it really hard for independent artists who wanted to do it legally and right to actually do it legally and right. But now with easy song licensing, it's super easy and affordable, and doesn't take much time at all.
It's like they used to you could only call Roto-Rooter instead of calling your local plumber who knows his stuff. He really does. I mean, come on, give him a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to keep that analogy going.
Yeah, there we go.
So cool. I know that there are other tools, especially show.co, but we're going to save a whole other episode to talk about show.co, which is another thing that if you're CD Baby Pro, you get access to, correct?
Anybody with a CD Baby account gets access to that for free.
What?
So. Yes.
Oh my God, that's so great. So we're gonna save that one. So make sure to subscribe to this podcast. You'll get the updates. Is there anything else about publishing or just getting your record uploaded to CD Baby that you would want to share in a flash tip session here in a minute?
The one thing that's important with publishing specifically, but in general with releasing music, you need to have all the proper metadata. So you can't just be guessing, I think so-and-so wrote this part of the song or that part of the song. You need to get everybody on board. If you're a band, make sure everybody knows the writing splits. And so you need to have that information. You need to know what everyone has, what their real name that they registered with a PRO. If they're already registered with a PRO, you need to know what name they actually put in. Sometimes it's, different. I use my middle name in ASCAP, and so I have to put it in like that where I wouldn't normally with other things. So it's just important that you have all the correct information, because when people have trouble signing up, I just came across this the other day. Somebody was John Smith Jr., but they didn't use Junior when they signed up at ASCAP, and so they were trying to use Junior, and it just messes the whole thing up, because it really needs to be exact to make sure the money goes to the right people, because there's a lot of common names out there. And so just make sure you have all the right information of who wrote the songs, how much, and what PRO they're registered with. And if you're not registered with a PRO, we can do that for you in the United States. If not, we link you to the right places to go to get registered, and then how you can come back and continue forward with your release. So
yeah,
it's just metadata is one of those things that's becoming increasingly important with releases. And as things like album credits start coming back online on the platforms, Spotify just recently launched a beta version of a songwriter section on their platform. And it's very much beta. I was checking it out the other day. But those kind of things are going to start coming online more and more, hopefully down the line, and people can start getting the credit they're due. So you got to have that information.
Yeah, something we talked about in a previous episode in this whole season, which is get everything in writing, keep notes while you're at the studio. Any intern that helped, album notes, liner notes, all that stuff, it's useful forever, not just as you're creating the artwork. So yeah, I always take notes of, this person contributed, and even in a small way, I'm writing it down, and I keep a good Excel sheet of that so I can see it forever. I also would say, if you are just about to choose your, how you're registering your name and your publishing company, do a little research, see how common it is. So mine is CBE Music. You don't know how many emails I get a year from Chris Brown Entertainment asking me if I helped write the new whatever, hose in the back, whatever. I don't listen to it. And I'm always so tempted to be like, yes, that is my new beat. Thank you so much for contacting me. But no, so I regret very much that is what I chose. And so, learn from my mistakes, do a little research. And actually, I think I might have had it first. Let's just say that.
I'm sure you did.
Okay, cool. Kevin, first of all, where can musicians go find out more about CD Baby Pro and the publishing? Where's the best place to go?
Just head over to cdbaby.com. We have all the information there. And we have a lot of great articles on our blog too, which is diymusician.cdbaby.com.
Which I write a lot of, or used to at least, before I got busy with interviewing people on podcasts.
There you go.
Sorry. I'll put these links in the show notes. And if people just want to think you're a cool guy and want to see you online, where's your favorite place to hang out?
I'm usually, Instagram's the best place to catch me, or Twitter, but my username on both those is just @KBreuner, the letter K in my last name, Breuner.
Awesome.
And you can see a lot of what I'm doing too. I've got new music rolling out next month. So my band that I'm in is called Small Town Poets. You can find us on all the places as well. Small Town Poets, all the places. And, looking to you as an example, because I'm sure you're doing all the cutting edge stuff too. I'm trying.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. This was
absolutely
so concise and helpful. I think this is going to be a really great episode. And subscribe to the podcast, and we'll be back next week with more really awesome laser tips around releasing a record.